What up, YouTube? Hi. Getting ready to record. I am recording on a Sunday. Can y'all believe it? I'm working on a Sunday. Everything's been really busy. Trying to balance family, podcast, travel, exploring, networking, real estate. It's like bam. So today, no options because it has to drop on time. Being consistent is key. So we're just gonna get into it and we're gonna wing it. Usually I like read over the outline, but today we have time for that. Just gonna figure it out as we go. Okay? All right. Turn this other phone off. Make sure we're recording out of the right mic. Check. Whoop, bob, chicken. All right. What up, crew? What's good? It's your girl, Sade. And are you ready for an F? This is so annoying for me sometimes because I always do this. What up, crew? Welcome to another episode of the Crew Book Club podcast. And as always, I'm super excited to get into it. And funny thing about today, I'm recording on a Sunday, a day before the pod drops. Normally, your girl record days is on Thursday, but it's been hella good busy. Just everything. I went to Black Equity Con in Miami. Hope you saw the post and follow the weekend. Absolutely changed my life. Like, to be in an environment with so many other Black entrepreneurs, from real estate to podcasting, networking, and I just learned so much. And if you are listening to this podcast but don't follow the Instagram page, just know, babe, you are missing out. So go ahead over to the Crew Book Club on IG and follow. Let me tell you this, I won't take too much time to dive into the entire weekend because that could be a whole another conversation in itself. But let's just say the takeaways. Whoa. Let's see if I can find which post it was because it was just so good. And I just want to share a little bit of my top 5 takeaways. My top 5 takeaways from the Black Equity Con was know your value, number 1. Number 2, be consistent. Number 3, be authentic. And number 4, people don't just invest in ideas, they invest in you. Number 5, develop a victory mindset. These are all the things I've been telling y'all, but to hear other multi-millionaires say it and to be in the atmosphere with people who are just as motivated to get to that point, it's all about environment. So being a part of the crew, that's what it's about. What you listen to, who you talk to, who you vent to, who you build with, who your team is. Surrounding yourself with people like that is amazing. And another big thing that I learned, it's a difference when you go to a networking event and when you network with people and when you really connect with people. And out of that weekend, there was one particular woman that I really connect with. Her name is Harley G. She's a podcast. I think she launches in 1 week. And the thing about podcasting is everybody don't understand. Everybody don't know how much work it takes to do this, that, and the other. Same for whatever you're doing. No one really understands the detail of your job, but they see the results. So sometimes you might have that mastermind of people of entrepreneurship that you get and talk to about the financial and dedication. But when you have someone that you're connected with in your niche, that's a whole nother story. So I highly encourage you, when you go out to network, don't just network and drop names and take contacts. Really take the time to build relationships and connect with people. So yeah, it was just a bomb weekend. Check out the Instagram post. Your girl is out here striking poses. Shout out to Carla, my podcast coach. Man, like, to meet her in person was absolutely amazing. And it just felt so good to be in that space. And it's like, I'm going in the right direction. So I thank her for that. And also I met B. Simone. Why do I always, no disrespect, because I absolutely connected with her hearing her talk from the Know For Sure podcast, Megan Brooks. And you ever just meet these girls, just have an energy that I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, they're so inspiring and so authentic. And I was just in awe being part of their live recording, their live show at the Black Equity Con. So shout out to the creators of that and putting on a really dope event. So what else? There's so much that I'm challenging myself. And I feel like this is the year of being uncomfortable, of going to the next level. And I think I talked about this on the pod before. I did 75 hard 2 years ago, and that was the thing that catapulted, because I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. This year, I feel like it's a staple piece in my life of being part of the Black Equity Con this weekend, and being in that environment is going to be the next pivotal moment that's going to take me, which results into you, the crew, going into a higher trajectory. So look out, a lot of things are going to come your way. So continue to tune in to the Crew Book Club podcast and watch us grow. All right. I know that was a lot of intro, but that was really how I was feeling. So first of all, let me back up. Did I even say it? What up, crew? What's good? And how are you all feeling today? Not yesterday, right here in this present moment. How are you feeling? Because I want you to really listen and take in the things that you are experiencing at this moment. And you say, well, girl, I don't want to remember the stuff I'm experiencing right now. No, remember, but don't dwell. Because sometimes we got to look back and be like, look where I came from, to show gratitude and appreciate where we are today. All right, so I hope you're feeling good, feeling great. And if not, hopefully after listening to the pod, you are in a more positive mindset. All right. So we are jumping into chapter 5 and chapter 6 of our book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And chapter 5 is titled The Best Way to Start a New Habit. And chapter 6, Motivation is Overrated. Environment often matters more. What a perfect time to talk about our environment, especially because I just talked about experiencing that at the Black Equity Con. So I can't wait to next year for that. And if you want to go when they host the next one, reach out to me in my DMs and maybe we can set up like a crew takeover or something. Like, that's how on 10 I am. So if you're interested in doing something like that, where we book hotels together and we really make this a crew thing, DM me and let's see what's popping. All right. So before we jump into chapter 5 and chapter 6 of Atomic Habits, let's get into who gon' check me, boo. God is, and he is always checking us, which we love a good check, because checking us keeps us in line with what he wants us to be doing. And it's so dope. I was in church today and my pastor was preaching, and he just made this thing like, he preached from Leviticus chapter, Jesus, I can't even think of it. Darn it. But he preached, and it was in Leviticus talking about the incense, and how back in the Old Testament, the preacher was the only one who could have a direct connect to God, right? He would have to go in this veil, in this room, drop the veil, light the incense, the smoke kind of goes up into God, in the atmosphere of God, and God answered those particular prayers from the direct link to the priest or minister or whatever you want to call it. It's like the incense doesn't have any effect until it's caught on fire and connected to God. And I was just like, yes. So think of it like we're the incense. And think about an actual incense. You can smell it, but it's not really effective until it's lit. You can have all the ingredients, but until that incense is lit, you're not going to get the full benefit. So we're the incense. God is the fire who's going to push us to be lit into our next level. And the sermon title was Lift It Up. So check out that sermon. That should have been yes, that's the whole check me boo right there in that moment. But this particular check me boo came from the new devotional journal that I discovered. I don't know how old this book has been out, but it's new to me. It's called 100 Days of Joy and Strength by Candance Bure. I was inspired to get this because I enjoyed the Marshawn Evan Daniels. And I was like, oh, I want another 100 days. And this is the one that I found on Amazon. I'll have the link as well in the show notes. And day 9, think of these things, was the scripture Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Okay? The key points in the journal was, to me, what's holding you back? Is it fear, a lack of motivation, a lack of information, or how to reach your goal? Bring God into the fight with us makes fear start to fall away. As for motivation, why not try putting mindfulness to work for you after you've done something consistently, all caps? Ooh, yes, you know how good it feels and how beneficial it is for you. The other point, so the next time you've tempted to stay in bed instead of getting up to exercise, don't give power to your tiredness. And I'm going to take the exercise out of it. The moment you don't want to put any more into yourself, the moment that you don't want to put any more into your busyness, don't let the power of your tiredness keep you from your destiny, sis. Okay? Okay. We on the same page? Have you been checked? If you've been checked right now at your desk, at your car, wherever you're listening, just say, amen. Amen, sis. Okay? So that was the Who Gon' Check Me Boo. God He is always checking us. We deserve a good chizek. All right? Let's get into the crew love. Crew love. I'll be my own intro music, okay? To each segment. Anyway, so crew love, I did get a rating of a 5-star. I didn't get a written review, which is okay, but I appreciate the 5 stars. And you know, guys, our listening has increased to 232%. Like, that's some crew love. So I can tell you guys are enjoying this show. Continue to share with a friend because you don't want to be the only one elevating your group. And if you are, you selfish. And if you give people the opportunity to elevate and they don't, that's okay. You did your job. All right? So let's talk about our book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Remember, this book is on Audible. In the link, there's a show note for a 30-day trial where you can listen to the books, try it out. And if you didn't like it, unsubscribe from it and keep it P. All right? And just come back and listen to me. All right. So chapter 5, we get into the best way to start a new habit. Off rip. All right? Because we know we need to do new habits, but what's the best way to start? On page 71, it talks about this. It says, hundreds of studies have shown that implementation intentions are effective for sticking to our goals, whether it's writing down the exact time and date of when you will get it says get a flu shot or recording time for your appointment. But if you think about it, when a doctor gives you a date and a time, you put in your calendar and you show up. So the same way you do that, let's do that with our habits. Broadly speaking, the format for creating a implementation intention is when situation X arises, I will perform response Y. The punchline is clear. Listen, y'all. Listen closely to this. People who made a specific plan for when and where they will perform a new habit are more likely to follow through. All right? Many people think they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. Yes, once an I'm gonna get this right, y'all. Once an implementation intention has been set, you don't have to wait for inspiration to strike. If you're a writer, shout out, perfect segue. Shout out to Sage Reads. I am wearing a beautiful shirt called Writer. On it, if you're looking on YouTube, you'll see the shirt. If you go to the IG page, you'll see me wearing the shirt in the clips. But shout out to her, Sage Reads. Absolutely love the shirt. But anyway, when you're a writer or whatever, do you write a chapter today or not? Do you meditate in the morning or at lunch? Like, think about what you want to do. And remember, it could be little things that lead up to the big things, right? So say you want to be more fit, but you don't have time to exercise for an hour. Wake up early, exercise for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, hell, a minute. I don't care. But do something instead of doing nothing at all. We always talk about this, okay? So let's talk about how to do that. So meditation. I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. You said what you're going to do. You said what time you're going to do it. And you said where, right? So put that in your calendar. So let's practice that, all right? That was so good. Now, let's get into the other part of chapter 5 that was really good. Habit stacking, because maybe the other way doesn't work with you. You know, a simple plan to overhaul your habits. So maybe trying it this way. Fogg's habit stacking formula is after current habit, I will do this. So maybe for meditation, after I pour a cup of coffee each morning, I will meditate for a minute. That way you're associating, after I do this, I'm going to do that. Reward myself with this, and then I'm going to do that. You guys, you got to find what works for you. And the thing is, like, a lot of times we try one thing and it don't work, and then we give up instead of trying other things to get to the same result. Like, there's more than one way to get to the destination. Like math, there's more than one way to get the answer 4. You might do 2 plus 2. You might do 5 minus 1. But there's other ways. So just because it didn't work that one way, don't give up, sis. Like, keep going. Keep trying. Try different formulas that better help your habit. Okay? Kind of like skincare. People think, oh, I need to use the same skincare. If it ain't working, you can mix things up and find what works for you. Everybody is different, okay? But we have to take what we can learn from others, see if it works for us. And if that one thing doesn't work, apply it to something else, okay? So I really like that. The key is to tie your deserved behavior into something you already do each day. Once you have mastered this basic structure, you can begin to create larger stacks by chaining small habits together. Yes, so find out what works for you. This is another example. This is one example of habit stacking compared to the other way. When it comes to exercise, when I see a set of stairs, I would take them instead of using the elevator. Simple, right? And sometimes we make things so complicated. Stop making things complicated. All right, simplify. Finances. I'm talking to myself. When I want to buy something over $100, I will wait 24 hours before purchasing. Y'all, the new Adidas by Ivy Park, no green ones, and them socks, I want the whole thing. But it's over $100. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give myself a week. And if I still like them things, I don't know, I just might. but I'm really trying to do some other things. So I'm like, okay, that is not important, Sade. Focus on the goal. All right. But if y'all feeling it, y'all know where to find me if y'all want to gift your girl something. All right. All right. So back to the book. I'm getting off track. No matter how you use this strategy, the secret to creating a successful habit stack is selecting the right cue to kick things off. Unlike implementation intention, which specifically states the time and the location of given behavior, habit stacking implicitly has the time and location built into it. I don't know if I said that other word right, but I'm pretty sure somebody will correct me, and that's okay. But we're going to keep it going anyway. All right. So one way to find the right trigger for your habit stack is to brainstorming a list of your current habits. You can use habit scoring from the last chapter. You remember the challenge of the week from last episode 26, I promise you, and how we wrote down positive and negative habits that we have. Take those negative habits and attach it to a positive habit. So after you might eat that McDonald's that you wasn't supposed to eat, go for a 15-minute walk. Okay, so start associating things like that. Give it a shot. Let me know how that works. All right, so that was the key ways to me to start a new habit that stuck out in the book that the author discussed. So let's get into chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. Check this out. Everything is strategically placed when you shop. I was a visual merchandiser for Nordstrom, so I know. In the book, it talks about this. There was this Dr. Thorndike, the physical PCP doctor in Massachusetts, and she believed she could improve eating habits of thousands of hospital staff and visitors without changing their willpower or motivation in the slightest way. She didn't even plan on talking with them. So she designated water placement in the cafeteria. On page 81, she talks about it. You can read it in the book. If you're watching YouTube, you can see the picture a little bit. If I bring it back, and you see where I'm pointing, and I'll have to cut this from the pot, but you see where I'm pointing? That was where the water was, right? And she had it in different places. So instead of just having it in one place, she decided to put these baskets of water in different locations where people check out, walk out the door, by the tables. And little do you know, people start just automatically picking out the water. Now, this works both ways for positive and negative habits. So if you're going somewhere, maybe avoiding driving by the shopping center that you like to shop at so you won't trigger yourself to go shopping. Or maybe the placement in your refrigerator. Instead of putting all the sweet stuff and junk in the front, put all the fruit and vegetables and let those be the first options that you see. We got to do what we got to do to create these new habits. And if you're not willing to sacrifice or spend extra time to create those new habits, you ain't ready. And if you ain't ready for that, you ain't ready for the other thing that God has in store for you. Okay? Because you can't handle the little stuff. All right? I hope you got checked in that moment, because I feel like I was talking to myself. I had to look in the camera for that one. Okay? But anywho, so on page 82, she says, people often choose products not because of what they are, but because of where they are, right? We went over that. And this is another example. We like to think, this is another point. We like to think that we're in control if we choose water over soda. We assume it's because we wanted to do so. But the truth is, however, that many of our actions we take each day are shaped not by purposely drive and choice, but by the most obvious option. Yeah. For this reason, a small change in what we see can lead to a big shift in what we do. Yes, I lost my words because it's so true. Sometimes the most obvious options we avoid. Even with our walk in Christ, it's like, oh, just talk to God and pray. We be like, but that sounds so Or like the story in the Bible where I can't think of the chapter, but when God was like, well, just take the mud and rub it on your eye. It's like, ugh, you want to put mud in my eye? You really need to go to every doctor, pay all the money, but God done told you, just pray, take the mud, rub it on your eye, and you can see again. But no, we do everything else, and sometimes it's just the obvious choice. Don't overthink it, okay? So I really liked how they talked about environment and things of that way. And it's also think about just being around people, the environment that you're in. You might have all the willpower that you think, but if you're one out of the 5 people in your group who don't curse and everybody curse and everybody not doing what they need to be doing and talking about things of not elevating and things like that, sooner or later, you're going to fall short into that. So be careful who you surround yourself with when you're rebuilding who you need to build. All right. I was having this conversation and with some colleagues about success and the fear of getting so successful and then losing like certain friends and family. And I feel like I'm gonna be by myself. Trust me, God has that new group that you need to be around that's gonna be there to help get you through and understand where you're at. And that's where you have to understand time blocking with certain people and certain environments. Like if you go somewhere and you're constantly pouring out your cup and nobody's pouring in your cup, you need to limit being in that space and find the people who can pour into you. Okay? So that was really good on chapter 6 about environment often matters more. Also, it talks about how to design your environment for success. If you want to make a habit a big part of your life, make the cue a big part of your environment. On page 89, it talks about that. When you can't manage to get an entirety new environment, redefine or rearrange your current one. Create a separate space for work, study, exercise, entertainment, and cooking. The mantra I find myself using is one space, one use. I will often work from my couch or at the kitchen table. I found it very difficult to stop working. If there was no clear division between the end of work time and the beginning of personal time. This is so good too from the perspective of getting stuff done at home. I know a lot of us have retreated to working at home, or even when you come home, it's like you get in the bed and turn on the TV, but you wonder why you can't sleep. Maybe you should have a TV in your house, in your bedroom to help with that. Or like for me, I may have, like I like to read, but then sometimes I might plop and I'm like, darn it, I'm gonna only sit here and read. Like I have a reading chair. Like if I'm sitting on the sofa, that's for watching TV. If I'm in my bed, that's for going to sleep. So find those designated, and you're probably like, I ain't got all the rooms. But like he said, y'all, it's no excuses. I don't care if you I live with my mama in a room. Don't lay in your bed and work. That's only for sleeping. If you don't go get a small little desk and put it in a corner. This is my workplace only. This is where I do this only. There's no excuse, okay? So curate your environment and get it done, okay? Done. So I really like those, and you can really read the chapter and dive into it. Maybe you need to strategically put your workout clothes in front of you every morning by the door. But y'all, there's no excuses. There's too much information to have an excuse. Okay? So that was chapter 5 and chapter 6 of the ones that checked me. And I'm just in love with this book. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all probably like, well, you say that about every book. But this is intentional to pick books that's going to help us change our lives, okay? And if you are not ready to change your life, continue to listen because you're going to be forced to in this environment. All right, so let's talk about BetterHelp. This is BetterHelp for you. Yes, this is BetterHelp for you. Reading this book and going to therapy. Yes, therapy is everything. And people are like, well, I don't need therapy to figure out my habits. Okay, if you don't think you got bad habits, you think you're near perfect, you need to be in therapy because none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. And if you sit and say, well, I don't need therapy, this ain't got nothing to do with therapy, Sade. Everything to me has to do with God and self-awareness, because a lot of times if we're not even exposed, there's things that I didn't even know about myself until I went to therapy. So I highly encourage it. And that's why BetterHelp is the sponsor of this episode. And that's why I'm offering it to you. It's betterhelp.com/crewlove. That's betterhelp.com/crewlove. You get 10% off your first month. Y'all, it's not that hard. Click the link. The promo code is crewlove. You will absolutely love it. I love it. And if you don't love it, I don't think you opened up your mind yet. But yeah, check out therapy for betterhelp.com/crewlove. Okay? That link will be in the show notes as well. So, I got to give you the challenge of the week. Yes, we love a good challenge. The challenge of the week. It's simple. We talked about it. Okay, y'all guess what it is? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Challenge of the week is curate your space. Curate your space. Y'all, you have no choice but to change your habits. Do what you need to do. You have no choice, okay? So I don't know what your focus is, whether it's praying more. Put the devotional journal by your bed. First thing in the morning, instead of reaching for your phone, better yet, put that phone in the bathroom. So that way, the first thing you reach for on the side of your bed is your devotional journal, your Bible. Connect with God. If praying and being connected to God is your thing you want to focus on. If drinking more water is the thing you want to focus on, put a bottle of water next to your bed. So that's the first thing you see. Let me drink my bottle now. If you want to have better sleep, take the TV out of the room. Like, curate your space. Be in charge of your space. If you want to work out more, have your workout clothes laid out in front of your work clothes. But like, be intentional about your space this week. So I'm challenging you to curate your space so you can change your environment. That will help cue and trigger and change your habits, okay? So that was the challenge of the week. For me, it is going to be, I hadn't thought of it yet because I've been practicing all of these before I even record the episode. I practiced the water one, and it really helped me drink more water. I practiced putting my phone away, and I always keep a book by my bed. And I strategically have books placed everywhere. So in those moments, I feel like reading, I just grab whatever book is there and I read 10 pages. Easy. So for you, curate your space, all right? Let me know how that goes. So let's get into what would the crew do? Ask advice. And this is a scenario. I think it's like our third scenario. Y'all kind of get the point. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Oh, okay, McDonald's, don't come sue me because I saw in your little tag. All right. But anyway, it says, I'm in a relationship with a guy I've been dating for 2 years. We live in separate states. He wants to move to my location, but since I've known him, he has had 3 different jobs. Whenever I visit, he pays for everything. I'm not sure what his money habits are and how to approach responsibilities if he moves in with me. What would you suggest I do? Nowadays, if you 3 different jobs in how long? 2 years. See, but the past 2 years, there's been COVID and things. So, I don't know y'all relationship, and I don't want to fill in the blanks, but for the past 2 years, if he's consistently had one, I don't think nothing wrong with that. Like, are these elevations? Are these better opportunities? Because I would rather have somebody get a job, be working until they can get another one instead of just sit, wait for the right one. So maybe he's just looking for the right one, but he's willing to try different things. Because I get it. Like, trying different things until you can get to where you need to get to or discover your niche is okay. Now, if he just quitting because he don't like it and he having issues with people and that's why he having to quit, that's a different story. Because then you're talking about character and all of those things. And you don't want to be dealing with nobody who can't handle themselves in the workplace. So it all depends. But if he's just trying to figure out where he's trying to go, cool. I ain't even mad about it. If he paying for things and he always has the money to do things, cool. But before he moves in with you, it needs to be written down and signed. I don't care how much you are in love, but those responsibilities need to be made clear. And that's only coming from experience, okay? If those responsibilities are not made clear or understood or written down, outlined, whatever, then you're walking into the unknown expecting someone to do something and assuming, and what they say about assuming makes an ass out of ourselves, okay? So don't assume, have the conversation. And I feel like if you're willing to move in with me, then I need to be knowing credit scores. I need to be knowing how much you're making. And these are not invasive if you're talking about someone invading each other's spaces, okay? A lot of times we shy away from asking those hard questions about money. But when you talk about first date here, we're talking about 2 years in and changing your whole life to move somebody into your space. So those are the questions that I would suggest asking. And then really asking him, well, what's happening with your jobs? Like, why are you quitting? Okay, if it's an attitude, I can get along with people, ooh, red flag for me. But if it's like, no, I'm just trying to find the right things, this is not meeting the standard of living that I want, and each job is getting better, then that's a different story. All right, so that was What Would the Crew Do? Ask advice. Please follow up and let us know how that's going. I would love to see how that goes. All right, so before I get out of here, y'all already know I got to give you the quote of the week. Hey, the quote of the week comes from our book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It says, you don't have to be the victim of your environment. You can be the architect of it. Yes, y'all. Let's curate and build our environments to have better habits and better lives. This is your girl, Sade, checking out from the Crew Book Club podcast, and I will see you all next week right here. Hey!